Morning, everyone. Welcome to what seems like my life's work the last 2 years, but we're here, and thank you for coming. Everyone here has contributed in some way to this project, and it's really important that we celebrate this together. So, give you an idea where this started. My friend John Elliott, my son Brandon Barry, years ago thought this would be a great place for a park. So the youth of Sandwich from Sandwich Teen Action Group came in here, learned how to write a resume, learned how to do presentation, went out and raised the funds. We told them it was all the funds, we kind of helped, but they raised the funds to build the original park that was here. We had help from our port users like Sterling Fuel, Southwest Sales, to get the first park. Instead of the old parking lot that was here in the 40 feet of grass that was called a park, they did that first design. The next design came from a gentleman named Russell Noddy, who was with Turtle Island at the university. He said, we need something to honor First Nations on the waterfront. There's nothing here. I said, I have some property. We think this is a good spot to start. So Russell pushing it, looked at the idea. My friend Stephanie here, Stephanie Campo with the WDBA, approached me before COVID and said, it'd be kind of cool to do a little like a pier, a walkout, and they could see the bridge. And of course that went away because of COVID. When COVID ended, Stephanie knocked on my door and said, we'd like to help. We'd already done some shoreline work. We're halfway there. Gordie Howe came forward with community benefit money and helped us get to where we are. So I'm sitting in my office, how am I going to do this? I've got this money. I called a friend of mine, Dr. Will Tape. He's been called doctor, so I used it. Called Will Tape, said, Will, I got this money, I got this idea. What do you think? Within about 30 to 40 minutes, he had the project team. Will donated his time. The architect, Jason, where are you? Jason Grossi back there, donated his time, his talents. We started that first project team. And as we went on, the project team built. Rob DeMena became our project manager, who is, as a result of him, what you see today is built. This could not have got done without Rob and the effort he put into this. Blood, sweat, and maybe probably a lot of tears in the freezing cold and the extreme heat. So it's pretty amazing to see the group together. Even bigger in this, what Will and Rob and Jason were able to do, it's get us a lot of people to help. One of the substantial beyond the Gordie Howe Community Benefits Fund was Atlas Tube. The pier you see here today is as the result of Atlas Tube donating the steel to this project. This project would not have happened if it wasn't for Atlas Tube and the Gordie Howe. And I'm going to keep bugging Stephanie because she's been my rock to get this thing done, so I 100% appreciate it. As I said, Jason, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Late night phone calls, a lot of banging our head against concrete walls and saying, it's got to work, and it did. Will, he's down here in the weekend picking up garbage, making certain it's together, checking the tree placement that Plantscape did a beautiful job. Jerry Bezaire donated his time. The design is Jerry's. What you see in front of you is a landscape design working with Jason and Will. I can't thank you enough to Bezaire Partners. PBS Engineering. Believe it or not, this place has got electrical. We had a bit of electrical vault issue with the wrong one arrived. This will be lit. There's track lighting inside there that you can't see. This will glow at night. This is bollard lighting here, so it's really decorative. And it's because of their designs that we are where we are. The CT group of companies. Tom, you're here somewhere, hand up. Tom back there was absolutely critical to getting us started and finding out how far we had to go to get the pilings all the way down to bedrock. Surveyors on site. They did the elevations how many times? A couple of times. Kept coming back, said, you got it right, you got to move. If surveyors on site had not come in, again, I wouldn't stand at the end of the pier. Because of them is great. Rob DeMena, South Shore Contracting. Forever in your debt, my friend. You pulled this out and you didn't kill me along the way. Intrepid General. The concrete work, the groundwork, everything that was here because of them. Let's not forget the students of St. Clair College who volunteered their time, poured concrete, did rebar. Absolutely were integral. We were out here when we were doing the coring in the freezing cold. The college has been absolutely critical in pulling this together. Victoria Steel. Thanks, guys. They're the ones that constructed this from the design. And did they put up with a lot? Absolutely, because it changed, it moved, the conditions changed, but they came on forward and had no hesitation. Charlie Hotham just arrived, Hotham Building Supplies. Thank you for your help, your donations. Spartan Sling, again, weed, invaluable. There he is back there. Thank you so much. I really need to thank our neighbor, Jonathan Segan, Patton Segan. They have future construction coming. They allowed us to do our whole project from their property. We brought them materials. They let us take their fences down. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have got there. But consider the vision of this came from Russell Noddy 17 years ago. He said, First Nations belong on the waterfront. It's our river, it's our water. We need something. So the area that you're in is First Nations. The water is First Nations. The land is First Nations. And we are going to do more with First Nations in the area. As you can see, it's a lot of grass. That in time will change. We're going to QR codes. You come along and take a picture of the QR code, and that history, their story will be told. It's their story to tell. And of course, I did a little bit of work here, but I couldn't have done it without the team. And I'd like to thank my boss for being very patient to let me do this pet project. I couldn't have done that. The chiefs at Caldwell and Walpole, for you to come, greatly honored. Your water guardians, your land guardians brought us here today. By the way, real quick, the reason why you see the design that you have is what I learned was First Nations doesn't go hunt and go back in the same area. They enter from one direction and hunt and fish and go out the other side so that they're not over-hunting the areas they've just been. So that's why that design. I had a T-dock, a pretty normal. They went, no. So again, thank you. I'd like to turn it over now to my boss who let me do this, for him to have some brief comments from the port.
Well, thank you, Peter. What some of you may know, may not know, it's now public so I can say it. Peter has announced his retirement at the end of this year. So after an incredibly distinguished career, absolutely. It is an incredibly distinguished career that is as long as the sidewalk to the road. This is certainly, I'm so proud of Peter, but I'm also so have such gratefulness that this opportunity is Peter's last big hurrah, and what a significant monument to an amazing career. So once more for Peter. I'm glad to be joined here today by our colleagues from WDPA. Stephanie, thank you very much. Dave Henderson from BNA. If you want to know when the bridge is going to open, ask these two people right here. Well, Stephanie's going to announce it. Well, Stephanie will be up in a minute. She'll announce the date. But anyways, thank you, both of you. I'll tell you, it was BNA that came to us a year and a half ago, I guess, to say, are you still willing to build this pier? I said, absolutely. They said, we have some money, we believe, left in the community fund, and we couldn't think of a better concluding project to open up just days before the Gordie Howe International Bridge. So thank you for approaching us, thank you for supporting us, and thank you to the community for showing up today. You know, the river's a very special place of spiritual connection, of recreation, history, and trade. I grew up just blocks from the waterfront, an area that's now the festival of right across from City of Windsor. My childhood memories are full of riverside walks with my grandfather, fishing from old wood pilings with friends, and the occasional jump into the water to cool off. And regretfully, it also included jumping trains that once occupied our waterfront downtown. It's a surprise I'm standing here. It is because of these feelings and these shared experiences that we understand the importance of opening access to the waterfront. Admittedly, the necessity of trade and marine transportation that employs 1,200 people each day at our 13 operating terminals does consume much of the West End waterfront. But today, we stand upon a rejuvenated dock space that will provide access for everyone without charge, without restriction, and the views are spectacular. The experience will be absolutely serene. The board of Windsor Port Authority is grateful to WDBA for their significant financial contribution through the Gordie Howe International Bridge Fund and BNA, and all those who contributed so much to make this project possible. This legacy project is a proud symbol of our community strength and our community pride. I can only imagine the stories and the memories of today's children and families who will recall their memories of this pier 50, maybe 60 years from now. Thank you for attending. I'm now going to turn this back to Peter.
Thanks, Steve. And now, Stephanie, it's your time to tell your story. Please come up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not going to introduce myself because Peter keeps saying who I am, but I would like him to be on my speed dial for those days when I'm having a rough day. I'm just going to call him. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here today. We are very excited to join Peter and Steve and all of the contributors to the fishing pier for today's launch of this wonderful new amenity for the community to enjoy. At the heart of the Gordie Howe International Bridge Community Benefits Plan is an intention to deliver initiatives that align with community priorities that will enhance Sandwich and West Windsor for residents, visitors, and businesses. Back in 2015, when we launched a 3-year consultation with the communities about the types of investments that would most resonate with them, we heard about the very unique relationship many place on the Detroit River. This river has flowed through Windsor and Detroit before there were two separate countries. When Indigenous peoples used it for travel, trade, and sustenance, when Europeans arrived and began small settlements on its banks, and now today, how people continue to engage with the river for business, recreation, and a place for reflection. The Gordie Howe International Bridge team is thrilled to see this community benefits initiative become a legacy landmark in the Sandwich community. Going forward, it offers a safe space where people can interact with the river in a new way for fishing, for reflecting, and for learning about how this waterway has sustained both Indigenous and settlers alike. We're also very proud to see how contributions from others have helped this pier come to fruition. The Community Benefits Plan places an emphasis on learning opportunities for students, and this pier provided a special opportunity for St. Clair College students to develop real-world skills that have left a permanent mark in Sandwich Town. On behalf of the Gordie Howe International Bridge team, I extend sincere thanks to Windsor Port Authority for its leadership on establishing the fishing pier. We hope it becomes a well-loved place in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. I now call upon MP Kathy Borelli for comment.
So I have the speech here, but the only thing that's in my mind right now is my memory of fishing off of this dock many, many, many years ago, where I caught my first, I think it was a perch fish about this big. It was very exciting. I'm glad. I don't know if fishing will be allowed here. What do you guys think? Absolutely. Oh, wow. That's so great. So a place where many more memories can be made for many more children in our area. It's a wonderful new installation that will bring more life and prosperity to the west end of Windsor, and I'm grateful for that. So projects of this magnitude just don't happen in a vacuum. They're born from vision, fueled by collaboration, and built through unwavering partnership. So I want to recognize the Windsor Port Authority and their leadership for their foundational investment into this project and your relentless commitment to ensuring that as our port generates prosperity, our citizens retain access to this beautiful natural resource. And our deepest gratitude to the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority through the neighborhood infrastructure strategy of the Gordie Howe International Bridge Community Benefits Plan. You provided critical funding to bring this project to life. It's a prime example of how major international trade corridors can directly enrich the local neighborhoods they pass through. We must also thank the Caldwell First Nation and local Indigenous leaders. Your curation, ceremonial space, and beautiful Indigenous artwork ensures that this pier honors the true deep history of this land. And finally, to the faculty and students of St. Clair College and the local businesses who generously donated design, engineering, materials, and services. Thank you to all. This pier literally woven from talent and generosity of our community. So what are the outcomes of this $2.5 million investment? First, we've created an unmatched recreational anchor. So this stunning 40-foot lookout pier gives families, tourists, and residents a literal front row seat to the Detroit River, the historic Ambassador Bridge, and the rising marvel that is the Gordie Howe International Bridge. We are driving tourism and economic vitality into the West End. So I understand there will be complete interpretive signage with QR codes that will help people learn the deep history of this land. I'll just sum it up by thanking all of those involved. Thank you for bringing this vibrant space to our community, and look forward to visiting here myself. And you know, if fishing is allowed, maybe one day I'll get that chance to get a rod and, you know, cast it and pull up a little fish bigger than 6 inches. But thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you very much. You're allowed to fish. In fact, on July 4th, along with the Detroit River Cleanup Committee, we're doing a Learn to Fish for children on the Saturday of July 4th. There'll be fishing rods that we'll provide for each of the kids to come learn that they get to take away with them. So that's really all part of what the community is all about. At this point, I'd like to bring Steve back to introduce Harp. Oh, sorry. I knew there was somebody who was missing.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, folks. Look around yourself. We are talking about history. We're talking about respect. Each of you here brings a legacy of history that you have been around here for a very long time, and you are memorializing that history today, and you're doing it with respect. I have been here almost 38 years. Of those 38 years, for over 3 decades, I've known John Elliott. I knew him when I was a student at the university. I've known Charlie back there for over a decade during my policing days, and he was the chair of the Crime Stoppers Association. I've known Peter for almost 2 decades. I've known Tal over here for almost a decade when he was running the golf tournament for us. These are the folks that are together here to bring a degree of togetherness and community. But what I'm most excited about today is I'm going to learn today when the bridge is going to open. So thank you very much. There's a lot of people here who want to know, and I'm hearing it's imminent. Thank you for dropping that ball. Truly appreciate it. I'm grateful for that. Many people here in this town, this city, are also very grateful. So thank you for making that imminent announcement, Steve, and to you too, sir. And with that, I'll thank you all for being here. Thank the chief for being here and the elders, of course, and all of you. So thank you for being here, and grateful to join you on this momentous occasion. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well. Sorry, I cut into your agenda here. So, from Harb and myself, this is a scroll of congratulations on the opening of the Queen's Dock Pier. So congratulations to Port Windsor on the opening of the new pier at Queen's Dock. May this new space bring people together and be enjoyed for years to come. Best wishes.
Thank you. How about we get Peter in the middle so we can get a picture of the chiefs as well?
Where would you like me, Harp? You know how to say
Who's the director doing the photography here?
Everybody.
Everybody's got a camera. This location along these shores has centrality to our lives, a sense of place and geography. But it's also a place of significant cultural history for the First Nations peoples who have traveled these waters, stood on these very shores for thousands of years. Well, not right here. It was about a block back. These used to be all water right here. But still, our settler presence pales by comparison. At Port Windsor, we recognize the reconciliation with First Nations and our duty to take an active step to rebuild that relationship. This small gesture today is an acknowledgement that the First Nations of our region provided a perpetual and thoughtful custody of these waters and shoreline that enables us to enjoy the fruits of leisure and commerce today. I want to use the Indigenous word, Kinamagawin, I hope I got it halfway right, which means learning together. We are privileged and honored today to have with us Chief Nikki Van Arschoot of Caldwell First Nation and Chief Leila Thompson of Walpole Island First Nation. I will ask them both to come to the podium to provide some wisdom and context for our presence here today. But first, I want to invite Louise. Louise, where are you? Louise, come on up to begin with the traditional Indigenous prayer. Please, Louise.
Yanabiju, Louise Hillier, Dishnakost, Mackinac, Don Wanameo, Caldwell, Anishinaabe. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. With First Nations, we begin all of our gatherings with words of thanks. And so today I'm offering Chimigwech to the Creator for our sacred medicines, for our medicine people, our knowledge keepers, our language keepers, our traditional people, our ceremony makers, and of course our leaders. Our leaders paved the way for all of us. But with this project, it's a very beautiful finished project. And there will be so many benefits that we can all be grateful for. Health-wise, that's where I'm looking, is the health. Within the city limits, to find a place of solitude and peace is very much sought after, I would think. And I want to say just a few words too, since we've heard a lot about the students who helped work on this project. Going back to use a phrase that was coined a few years ago, every child matters. And indeed, every child does matter. As we all know, and we think back to our own childhoods, we had good times, we had maybe some not so great times, but the one, I think, factor that was always there were our parents. Our parents and the people that surrounded us who loved us and encouraged our dreams and our visions. And of course, this is the result of someone's dream and vision. And I believe that the more of ourselves that we invest in the children of today, the greater the benefits will be for our future, for all of us. So again, offering thanks for everything that we have here today, all the benefits that will come from the construction of this one place that we will all cherish. Say Chimigwech, Chimigwech, Chimigwech.
Miigwech, Louise. So now I would like to invite Chiefs Nikki and Chiefs Leela to come forward. I couldn't encourage Stephanie to make a special announcement, but I believe they do have a special announcement for us. Please come forward.
Ani, good morning. Miigwech, Louise, for your thoughtful words and your words of thanks to the Creator for preserving this place. I know we're original caretakers. My ancestors and our community's ancestors have been original caretakers of this land and the water, so I also want to offer my thanks to them for providing this and keeping this safe for us to enjoy not only the beautiful space, but for us to live off of, for us to, water is life, and without the water here, life can't be sustained. So miigwech for your words of thanks, and miigwech to the Creator and for our ancestors as well. I did prepare some remarks. Not sure if you've heard it at all, but politicians can be long-winded. Nobody here, of course, but I've heard that they can be, so I want to keep my words to a minimum. I'll do my introduction. Minokajap, Nikivan Orscott Indigenous Cause, Caldwell First Nation, and Donjiba, Mikanak Nadodam, Mashkawezi, Nandamo, and Kwe, Anishinaabe Kwe. So I'll translate because I don't think there's very many fluent Anishinaabe speakers here. What I said was, good morning, my name is Nikki Van Orscott. I'm from Caldwell First Nation. I'm part of the Turtle Clan, and my spirit name means Carry Strong Mind, and I'm the chief of Caldwell First Nation. I wanted to say how much of an honor it is to be here today, not only to celebrate this space, but to celebrate everyone who came together to make this possible. It can't be done with one person alone, and I think they've done a great job at recognizing that there are a lot of contributors to this, so miigwech to you all as well. The new pier name is Bejigoyak, which means waters are becoming one. I think that's such a beautiful term. In our language, things don't translate literally, so that's the closest translation that we have to that. The name carries a deep meaning. It speaks not only to the physical meeting of waterways that have sustained our peoples for generations, but also speaks to how we've been able to sustain ourselves as people for generations. It speaks of coming together as communities, as governments, and as partners in the spirit of respect, cooperation, and a shared purpose. I want to acknowledge the leadership and partnership at Port Windsor, and extend appreciation to Walpole Island First Nation as well for standing alongside us today, and going in as partners with this. And we, come to an agreement, and we come with the same mindset. There's a shared purpose and there's a shared vision, and I always appreciate the ability to come together as groups and work through these discussions so that we can have the best outcome for all. For First Nations peoples, water is life, as I've said. These waters have always been routes of connection. Connections to nations, trades, families, and cultures long before borders existed or these other roads. These were our original roads, was the water. Today, as we open Bejigoyak, we are reminded that progress is strongest when it is built together with recognition of the original stewards of this land and the waters. This project represents more than infrastructure. It represents relationship building and a growing understanding that partnerships are very important. And those partnerships must include First Nation involvement as well. Caldwell First Nation is proud to be a part of conversations and initiatives that support economic opportunity, environmental stewardship, and long-term prosperity across this region. When First Nation communities are included as true partners, we're able to create outcomes that far supersede any expectations that one person can come alone. The name reminds us that while waterways may come together naturally, people must choose to come together. And that is what Port Windsor has done intentionally with this project. He has done a great job of including many people, understanding that many people will benefit from this, enjoy this, and that the ideas that sprung from youth years ago has now developed into this beautiful pier that people can enjoy for a long time from now. I also want to recognize those whose hard work brought this project to completion: leadership, staff, community members, and partners who contributed their time, expertise, and vision. And I think it's clear to see from the results that this isn't just something that was thrown together. There's a lot of thought that went into this, and I appreciate the thought that went into this. As we look ahead, I want this pier to serve not only as a gateway for commerce and growth, but also as a symbol of reconciliation. It's a symbol of collaboration and unity that you have with the Indigenous people here, with Caldwell First Nation, Walpole Island First Nation, and the community that lives here as well. So, Chimigwech, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Chief Thomas.
Bujuani, Makoanada, Tashinkwa, Dishnakaz, Bakajano Dunjaba, Makwa Dodem, Ogemakwa, Chief Leela Thomas from Walpole Island First Nation, also known as Bakejanon, unceded territory. Bakejana means where the water divides. So if you are aware of our territory, the water divides on the north end of Bakejanon, and it comes together on the south end. And what beautiful representation of that in everyday life and purpose, in terms of we can all be divided on many different issues, and but we need to come together as one, come in unity, so that we can accomplish things that we need to in this life. And that's what this represents to me. We talked about a lot of things coming in unity, everyone collaborating and working together on making sure that this project comes to. Look how beautiful this is. I was so touching coming here and looking at this. I used to live in Windsor for about 10 years, and I was always on that side of the bridge. And water has a very close meaning for First Nations people, and our connection to not only the land but the water, and our history, and our connection with that. And like Chief Nikki said, water is life, water is meaning, and we can't sustain life without that. And coming on this side of the bridge, I used to drive over here, go shopping, whatever, but I never came like this close to the water. And it's just beautiful, and these guys did an amazing job working together, coming together, and making sure that this happens. On behalf of our First Nation, I just want to say Chimigwech to our elder who came and opened us with prayer, and everyone that came together to make this happen, the Windsor Port Authority, the Gordie Howe Bridge, St. Clair College, and there's a lot of other people that came together to make that happen. And we're excited to share this space with everybody. And to us, truth and reconciliation is not just about seeking input from First Nations communities. It's about including us in partnerships and various projects. That's what true reconciliation is to us. And we see more and more of that happening, and that's a good step moving towards bringing together our First Nations and non-Indigenous communities together, because that's what we need to do more often. And again, on behalf of our First Nation, say Chimigwech, and enjoy this beautiful area. And I'm hoping that we can come here more often, and maybe some of our kids can come and see this, because not many times we get to come out here and bring our youth out here. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. Chimigwech.
Thank you very much for your words. Very much appreciated. It's important that you're here today for this space. In closing, I'd like to say we're not done. There's still signage, the QR codes. There's other things to be done in this space, working with First Nations. This is their space to tell the story. And we look forward to what the future is going to give us for that. Thank you. In closing, thank you all for coming. Thank you to our partners. There's some special partners out there, and I'm going to point Will Tape out because he hates it when I point him out. Will pulled the project team together, brought Jason in, brought Rob in, and brought the rest of our partners in. That project team, you're ever looking to hire some good engineers, architects, and contractors, those are the guys. Pretty special group. I thank you all for coming and sharing today. It means a lot to me that you've all taken the time today to be here. Use this space, bring your family, come up with new ideas of how we can use it in honor of First Nations. Work with us. There's more to come. Thank you.